good afternoon and welcome to the Nat Geo Kids Show. How exciting it is to be out here on safari. My name is Taylor and on camera with me today is VM, and you'll also meet a variety of other guides who I'll tell you a little bit about a little later. Now, for all of the wonderful kiddios watching today, how exciting! Hey, it's a Saturday. What a better way to spend your weekend than watching all this wildlife, although we don't have any now. So ask your mums and dads or your aunts and uncles to send us questions. You can send them to natgeokids@wildearth.tv. But make sure you get some parental assistance. Right, off we go. Let's go see what we can find. I think we're going to go and look for elephants today. Maybe we're also going to go and see a leopard. How about a leopard? Wouldn't that be cool? And if you're really lucky, one of the most endangered animals, so an animal that's very, very rare, and there aren't many of them left in the world. It's called a wild dog, and there have been some on the property with babies, with little puppies. They are so cute. So I think we're going to go out and try and find all of those wonderful animals a little bit later. Okay, but first up, it is so hot today. I hope everybody's put their sunscreen on. I've put my sunscreen on. Remember, if you do go playing outside, you don't want to get sunburnt. Even if it's cloudy, you'll get even worse burnt. So make sure you always lather up the sunscreen. Then, oh, look, who we've got first, VM? It's my friend Lucy, the turtle dove. Hello, little turtle dove. Now, I thought I'd just show you it because they're very funny. These birds don't know how to walk in a straight line. They always zigzag around, and that's very easy to tell their footprints on the floor. So if I see some really nice turtle dove footprints, I'll show them to you. But this turtle dove is on the move and looking for something to eat. It's not like you and I that can just go, Mom and Dad, please can I have a sandwich or a bowl of cereal, and it gets delivered to you. These birds have to go out and look for anything they want to eat. But there isn't much around at the moment. It's very, very dry, you can see, so it makes it very difficult for all the animals out here to try and find food. But I know, because I've been working in this area for a little while now, that all these areas in these drainage lines, so they're like little dips like this in the land that fill up with water when the rain comes. There's still lots of water underground. The elephants like to dig for water there because it's lovely and fresh and all delicious. And then there's also lots of nice green leaves around here. So I think that we're going to have a very good chance of maybe finding some animals around here. But like I said, there's some other safari guides out today, and you're about to meet my friend Sydney.
A very, very good afternoon and welcome to the beginning of the Kids Drive. My name is Sydney and I am traveling with Senzo this afternoon. We are going to be looking for some interesting animals for you and for your questions and comments. Kids, don't forget to ask your parents or guardians to send us comments on natgeokids@wildearth.tv. So I will be looking for the interesting animals such as the buffaloes this afternoon. And these buffaloes, I have heard that they have been spotted somewhere in this area. So I just want to try by all means and track them and see if we can find them. So the buffaloes, it's very easy to detect them because they all have got a very distinctive smell. So if the wind blows towards my direction, I know I am going to sniff them. I will know where they are. So I will also be looking for some of the interesting birds such as the oxpeckers. Oxpeckers are those kinds of birds which are responsible to clean the animals. So these animals, they've got to depend on some of the other animals to clean them. So those kind of oxpeckers, when they are flying high up by the sky, oh, here comes the buffaloes. I can see the buffaloes from here. Now, it means I'm going to have to go around and see if we can approach them nicely from the better angle. I'm excited now. I saw the buffaloes now. Oh, it's quite a very big herd. It's just that for me to get there, it might take me a few minutes. So the animals such as the buffaloes, when the weather is, they prefer to lie down by the thick bushes and also by the big gullies, by the old dry riverbed. You will find them there, and also you will find them by the rivers at this time, trying to roll in mud just to cool the body temperature. The wind is blowing a little bit, which is making it much better now. So let's go to Dave by the Masai Mara and see what he's having at the moment. Maybe he is lucky with something.
A very good afternoon. Hello, everybody and everyone, and welcome to the Masai Mara. And good luck, Sydney. Watch out, buffaloes sometimes are very dangerous animals. And we got a lioness here. We got a cat that's very flat, laying under the shade of a gardenia tree and blending in very well where she is at the moment. And as usual, my name is David. Hello, everybody. And hiding behind the camera today is Manu. Good afternoon, Manu. Very good. Manu have a different style of greeting. The other day, he did something like that. I can't remember what that meant. Today, he did that flying thumb. What is that today? Salute. He says that salute, just like mine, but I think mine is more appealing than Manu's. And welcome, everybody. Remember, this is a very interactive show. So we'll be very happy if you ask us questions. If you have any comments, please send them over as usual, #SafariLive. Alrighty. And you can also follow us on the YouTube chat stream. We're going to try and see if the lioness is going to wake up. We highly doubt she may do that because it's pretty warm at the moment. And this lioness forms part of a pride that is called the Mogoro Pride. Mogoro Pride. Mogoro was one of the most famous guides in Kenya. And he had a small little drama where we are now. And this pride is always revolving or turning around where we are. There are always 3 girls. It's her and 2 more. And you'll be finding out where the other 2 girls are. So the pride of Mogoro consists of 3 girls. They don't have any cubs. Not that I know of. But I'm sure we want to find out where the other 2 girls could be. Because of the heat of the day now, they'll just be enjoying the shade until maybe it cools off, they would start moving. One thing I know for a fact, the other 2 girls are not very far from where we are. And what I want to do is just to move around this area and be looking at every gardenia tree. Gardenia trees, just like the one you saw where that lioness is lying, are very good and they make very good shades like that one. Thank you, Manu. My apologies there. That's what you call a gardenia tree. And they make a very good shade. And they remain very solid. And more often than not, they're green all around the year. So we're going to move and find out where the other 2 girls are. And I'm not sure whether my friend Sydney, all the way in South Africa, has found his buffalo or not.
I did manage to get hold of the buffaloes. Look at that. It's quite a very big herd. I think they are approximately 70 to 100. That's quite a very big number. They're just everywhere here in front of me at the moment. So, but a lot of them, they are not feeding, they are not grazing, they are just resting at the moment. You can see that they are just standing, doing nothing. So the animals such as buffaloes, they prefer to feed until early mornings. During the day, like when the weather is too hot like this, is when they are relaxed and trying to chew the animals that they ate in the morning. So they have got quite a very interesting digestive system. They don't eat. So that one is a young male. So they've got a very interesting digestive system. So they've got to eat and save the food so that when it's too hot, they can vomit the food again and chew some cud. So you can see the horns are very much rough. That looks old to me. It's also a male. You can see the boss. So the space between those horns can go up to 2 meters, and that is very wide. So the buffaloes can also be very much aggressive. So they easily get irritated when there are predators around. So predators are those animals that have to go and look for food, the animals that normally go and hunt other animals for their survival. So there's quite a lot of buffaloes just behind that termite mound there. You can see the one lying down right in front here. Is very much difficult to judge if that is a buffalo. It's quite a very big animal, but when it's lying down, he can look small. So that one is a female which is now walking there. So now let's go to Taylor, who is now driving around the reserve, and see if she's lucky with something.
Those pesky buffalo. How cool is that though? Now, it's so special to see buffalo out here because I haven't seen them in this area for a very, very long time. So for those of you that don't know where we are driving around and on safari, we're in a very special area called the Greater Kruger National Park. And we're in a private area which is called the Sabi Sand, which is so nice. And there's not a lot of vehicles that are around here, and we can off-road when we need to, which is really, really special. So I'm so glad that Sydney had found that herd of buffalo. So we might actually even see Sydney. I think we could go past him. We're just going to go this way around and look for the wild dogs. Hello, Eddie. Right, what am I doing? What am I looking for? Somebody. Here he is. Here's Maurice. Here's Maurice the elephant who comes on safari. I think he needs to have a chair here. VM, perhaps you would be able to help me today. At some point, not now, we can try and think. We'll try and make Maurice a throw. And how does that sound for the rest of for the last little while? How long have we got left to go? Like 45 minutes. We'll do Maurice the elephant. He can come on safari. Maybe we'll find his cousins and see if we can introduce him, because he hasn't seen some elephants for quite some time. But I haven't seen even any sign of elephants. No footprints. I've stopped to listen to see if I can hear them, but nothing. Let's see what we can find in this area here. Aha, I've seen an animal. It's a very common animal here in South Africa, and they are called impala. I'm just going to roll forward for you, VM. There we go. Now she hasn't got any sticks in her face. So these are antelope. And we have lots and lots of antelope here in South Africa, but this one is the most common one of them all. So like I said, they're called impala. And this is a girl. She doesn't have any horns on her head. Only the boys have got horns on their heads. I think she might be a little bit itchy, or she's just keeping herself nice and clean. But look at those big bellies. Now these are all girls that are in here, and you can see it looks like they've swallowed a beach ball, but they haven't. And that's because they've got little baby impalas developing inside. So towards the end of the year, we're going to start to see lots and lots of little baby impalas around. And they are so sweet. They are so small. But they're all just trying to keep out of the heat of the day. It's too hot today, so they're trying to stay in the shade, keep nice and cool. And also looking for little sprouts of green grass, maybe eating some seeds and things. But you can see how dry it is. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go all the way up here. We're going to keep following the road, going that way, and we're going to see if we can find those wild dog puppies. But David is having a lot more luck in the Mara. Let's go see if he's found more lions.
It's known Taylor, among the animals she never misses on every drive are elephants, and chances are, I'm sure, apart from the impalas she just found, she'll get some ellies. Now, I was talking about the Mogoro pride consisting of 3 girls or 3 females. I've been able to catch up or to see the other 2. And if you look carefully, there's one there in that tall grass. And though not very well seen, behind her there's another female laying down. And now this gives a complete set of the Mogoro pride. And you can tell because of what I was saying earlier. So a warm day, you can
look at the buffaloes now, just trying to investigate about our presence. You can see some of them are looking to our direction, but the wind is on my favor at the moment. But that does not mean these buffaloes are not aware of our presence. When the wind is coming towards my direction like this, is when I can smell the original body smell of the buffaloes. So this is the kind of smell which normally guides me when I'm following them. Look at that. Beautiful horns. M1K. It is very much common for the prey animals to lose their tails during the predation activities. Yes, animals such as lions, they try to catch some of the big animals of this size, and that is when some of them do lose their tails. Approaching a prey animal from the back can also be very much dangerous to the predators, because these animals, they do have a good kick and turn mechanism. Some of them, they kick very hard. So I'm just trying to check here from that buffalo you have just shown us, as it seems like the right ear is swollen a little bit. So these animals got to walk in between the bushes and dry sticks. Sometimes they injure themselves when they are walking in search of the food, and also when they're trying to avoid their predators in the areas. The buffaloes, they are not territorial. The territorial animals is the animals who are residing at the same area every time. So those are the territorial animals, and they have got to defend their piece of land against the other animals of the very same species. But buffaloes, they don't have those kind of activities. They can just go and feed anywhere and everywhere in the game reserve. You can see that the one that we are seeing now, the skin is looking much more brown and it's looking dirty a little bit. This is because of the mud. These animals, when it's too hot, as I indicated earlier, they prefer to go and roll in mud so that they can absorb the mud and use the mud as a sun cream in order to prevent sunburn. So animals are also very much clever. Not also do use sun cream, a natural sun cream. You can see that that one even got makeups. So that one looks very much old. Catch, I didn't get your question very nicely. If you can repeat that, FC. The other animals, they graze near the buffaloes, but it's very much rare to see animals mingling with the buffaloes. The buffaloes, they prefer to feed as a group, just by themselves. But when other animals are feeding with them, it does benefit the buffaloes, but also does give a lot of benefit to the animals that are feeding with buffaloes, because it's when these kind of animals, such as buffaloes, they are very popular when it comes to the good sense of smell. So when the buffaloes detect a predator, giving some warning signals will benefit the animals that are feeding with them. And other species as well who can come and feed close to the buffaloes will also be able to get the updates when it comes to the predators in the area. So you can see the buffaloes, they walk in large groups, and this helps them when it comes to the safety in numbers. So it's never easy for a predator to just come and approach a big herd like this. So now let's go back to Taylor, who is driving, and see how her search is going.
Well, we're in the area of where the wild dogs were left. Now you just got to figure out which tree they're lying under, because like I was saying, it's been very, very, very hot. So I think that they would have found themselves a nice shady spot. So I'm also going to just check the ground for any footprints, because they also could have moved around. So wild dogs, which if we don't see them, I'll show you a picture of what they look like. They like to move around during the day, but they did already have breakfast this morning. So the puppies had big bellies. They were nice and full. So they could have also gone across the road and into that area, which we can't go to, unfortunately. And there's water there. They could have gone to have a drink that side. So we'll just check this boundary road to see if we can see their footprints. Then if we don't see their footprints, then we know that they're still around here somewhere. I think I see their footprints. You see those things there in the sand? Those look like wild dog tracks, but they look like they're going the wrong way. It does look like they've maybe crossed the road and gone out the other side. But let's just check around here, just to make sure. I know if I was a wild dog, I would go to the water, because they love to be in the water. They'll sit in it on the hot days. So just keep checking that they have got the most amazing camouflage. Now when I say camouflage, that's quite a big word. That's basically the word that we use when we're talking about animals that have got patterns and colors on their bodies that help them blend in, so that they are harder to spot. Like, you know, chameleons have camouflage, which makes it difficult to see them against the green leaves. So wild dogs will have the same thing, but they've got brown on them and black and a little bit of white. I don't see these puppies anywhere. I think they may have crossed the road. I'm going to go up a little bit further and then I'll turn around and do the same thing on the other side. See what we can find. Ah, wonderful. So it seems as though David is up and running again. He's out in the Mara. He's got one of the birds that can fly really high in the sky. Maybe they are looking for dinner.
Yesterday you did very well with the wild dogs. And boys and girls, what you see there are some of the largest birds that we got in Africa, and we call them vultures. We call them vultures. And vultures are, I would compare vultures to what? To our garbage collectors. Garbage collectors back home. So when we have anything that's not very clean out here in the wilderness, out here in the game reserves or the national reserves of Africa, the vultures, together with hyenas, will usually clean that mess. Remember, boys and girls, should you have any questions, please request your parents to ask us, and we'll have all the pleasure and be very happy to answer you or educate you on what is happening here. So we are in the Masai Mara, and Masai Mara is a game reserve that is in a country called Kenya. And what you see flying up there is another vulture. And boys and girls, if you look at it carefully, she is not flapping her wings. And what she is doing, she is enjoying what you call the heat thermos, just gliding up there. And Nikki in the final control says, very nice. And she is enjoying seeing her glide there. I'm also enjoying the same. So some of these birds, and then she's going to go and land. Boom. Excellent. Well done. Make sure you don't break the branches of that tree. Sorry about that area, or those other cars that are also enjoying the view just like us. Maybe Manu is about to pick another vulture. Just watch that one there. You see how planes just fly in the air, boys and girls? This is exactly what's happening here. And sometimes you notice when they don't keep flapping their wings, the vulture, what she is doing, she is conserving her energy. So every time she'll flap, she'll definitely be using her energy, and because you got enough heat thermals, she just keeps gliding. But for landing, she has to flap a little bit to get the balance. Man, are you sure you're gonna get another one? Maybe not. Oh, there's another one there. Look at that one. That's a different one. Boys and girls, can you see that one there? It's flapping, unlike the 2-3 we saw before. It looks much bigger. Look at the beak. Flaps, glides, flaps, glides. You see the difference? One, she's much heavier than the ones we were watching before. And this one is a stock, and it is called the marabou stock. Marabou stock. Long time ago in Africa, we used to say stocks would bring babies home. So that's a stock, and I'm sure maybe he's taking a baby somewhere. Ha ha ha. That's funny. Don't believe me today. On Saturdays, I usually make lots of jokes. And again, as I said earlier, do not forget to ask us questions through your parents, or if you see a nice comment you'd want to make, please go ahead and do it. So we got a lioness that was laying somewhere in the bush, not wanting to come out. Right there, what we have been seeing is just its paws, putting up its paw up and down, right in there. And because it's a bit warm now, that's why she is that one. Very good, Manu. So that is a lioness there, boys and girls. And what will happen if it cools off? She will come out and maybe she will start walking. This lioness that you see there has a sister and another one. There are always 3 females, and we call them the Mugoro girls. Lions, boys and girls, especially females, will always go in a group. And when you see lions in a group, you'll see a pride. That would mean females and their young ones. When you see males together, you'll not say a pride of lions, but you'll say a coalition of lions, and those will be the males. And one big difference between males and females will be showing you later. If we are lucky, the males have a lot of hair on their neck, something that we call mane, M-A-N-E. We're just staying here, hoping that these lionesses will wake up and make a move as it cools off. So the grass is just helping to give them a bit of shade. And by so doing, they don't get very hot and they'll not be panting a lot. So buffaloes are what Sydney got, and sometimes you have known lions chasing buffaloes. So kids, boys and girls, will take you now all the way to South Africa, to Sydney.
The buffaloes are kind of a special preference when it comes to the large predators such as the lions. And now that these buffaloes are here, the chances of seeing some other lions, cats activities, they might be very high in this area in a very short while, because mostly when the buffaloes are here, we know that we are going to see the different prides of lions. They are working together with quite a lot of little ones here. I can see quite a lot of males, females. They are not comfortable with our presence. Maybe they have been chased away by something where they come from. So these buffaloes are going to be fully active when the sun starts to cool down. That is when you will see this whole herd now feeding together. But when they are feeding with the babies, They don't have to travel very long distances because they must have to consider their little ones when it comes to they're thirsty. So they must have to make sure that they're walking and there is water nearby. These animals are very much water dependent. And apart from that, the grass at the moment is too dry. So they are left with no option. Every time they must have to go to the water holes. You can see there's a baby there now. One of the babies is too tired. And another baby as well. But there's quite a lot of babies. This is a very big breeding herd. And when they've got babies like this is when they can be very much protective. And I like the arrangement of the buffaloes when they are walking here in the bush. They don't put their babies in front. You will see the big males, which are called the pathfinders, heading the whole herd. And behind them, you will see then some of the females, and the little ones will be in the middle of that herd. So the pathfinders are responsible of the safety of the group, but them walking in front helps them in order to also get quite a lot of better grazing. Because when they are walking in front, they are the first one in order to enjoy the fresh grass, nutritious grass. Joy, beside the hippopotamus, animals such as the lions, they also defend their territories. Animals such as rhinos, they also defend their territories, including leopards. The territorial animals, you must check, they use various ways in order to mark those territories. Some of them, they use some scent glands, which is at the back, just through the at the back of the animal. There is a certain gland which is linked to the anal glands. When they spray it, then they leave it on top of these trees. And if another animal comes there, we'll know that obviously this area has already been demarcated. But some of them don't do that. Some of them come and defecate on the ground, and they produce quite a lot of scent in order to communicate about their territorial status with the other males in the area. Some, they do have glands in between their hoofs. They scratch the ground and leave it there so that other animals can be aware of the fact that this area has been demarcated and it belongs to me. That is how they do it. So now we can go back to Taylor, who is still driving to try and get you something. I will be leaving the buffaloes now and see if I can find you something interesting again.
I can't find any animals today. They've all run away from me. Those wild dogs look like they went out and off of our area that we can drive. So I don't know what to do next. I'm thinking we might have to go all the way to the south and maybe go and look at a very big watering hole down there called Chitwa Dam. So I think that's what we will do. Now, Thomas, yes, a leopard can survive a fall from a tree while eating their kill. They are very, very good at jumping. And have you ever heard that old wives' tale about how cats always land on their feet? I've seen one or two leopards fall out of trees and land on their sides, but they normally just dust themselves off and then they carry on. They're very, very strong animals. All the animals out here are very tough. So if they fall down and scrape their knees, they get up and they just carry on again. It doesn't matter. But I suppose they can hurt themselves, but that's why they practice when they're young, so that if they do fall out of a tree, they know how to fall properly. It's kind of like when I used to be a horse rider. I used to jump horses over jumps, and I would fall all the time. I didn't think I was a very good horse rider, but I learned how to fall very well to make sure that I didn't hurt myself. So I suppose they do exactly the same thing. So for now, it's a little bit quiet. I think we might see those wild dogs a little bit later. I really do just think that they're sitting in the water, trying to keep nice and cool, but we just can't see them. So we'll come back to that area maybe in an hour and a half or so, when it starts to cool down a little bit, and I think that they will start running around trying to find some dinner. So we're going to head in that direction. That's south, all the way down there. It's a little bit of a drive, but there are 1 or 2 watering holes that we'll go past in the meantime to see if there are any elephants, because that's what I'd really like to see. I really want to find some elephants today. So we're going to try our best. So I think we need to go to everywhere where there's water. And if we get down to Chitwa, you'll be happy to know that there's hippos too. There's lots of birds. We might even see a crocodile, and lots of impala, I'm sure some water buck. We'll see what's happening down that end. Maybe that's where the lions are too. So we'll try our very, very best to go and get some animals. Just seen Sydney. Oh, they're the buffalo. Okay, now I know where the buffalo are. So I was just driving. This area is a little bit higher up than where Sydney was, so I can look down onto him. But he wasn't too far away. Hopefully Sydney will be able to find you Hosanna, who is a really cool young leopard. Let me just check those are not leopard tracks. I don't think that they are leopard tracks. They look like hyena. Anyways, now a place where there's lots of animals wherever you go is in the Mara Triangle, and that's where David is driving around. You've seen lions, vultures, and now he's got the striped ponies.
Well, Taylor, good luck. And every time I hear of the Chitwa Dam, there's a lot of action happening there. But before Taylor gets there, I thought we'll do something different for you boys and girls. And we want to show you some big zebras and other herbivores called wildebeest. And what you have on the screen there, all those are zebras. And if you look carefully, boys and girls, they're walking in a line. See how beautiful they look, black and white? And I'm sure, boys and girls, the zebras here should remind you of the horses. Zebras are not very different from the horses that I'm sure you have all seen or you may have back home. So our horses here in Africa or in the wilderness are the zebras, and behind them are animals that love going together with them, called the wildebeest or wildebeest. And you notice the zebra seems to be eating more than the wildebeest, and how beautiful to see them in black and white. So boys and girls, remember, I requested you earlier, if you have any questions, please ask your parents, and I'm sure your parents will be happy to send the same questions through to us. How nice. See how great light we have on the zebra. Brian, great question. Do more animals die during the migration or because of predators? Migration, Brian, means when these animals move from one place to the other. If you look at them, Brian, carefully now, they're on the move. And Brian, these animals move only for 2 reasons. Number one, like, any other animal, you'll always go where there's food. So they'll always move where there is more grass, for example, the wildebeest, what they eat. Or the second reason be when they bring down or when they give birth to their young ones. And they do that in a national park called Serengeti in a country called Tanzania, south of Kenya. So I would say more of these animals die because of the predators than the migration. Migration is something that they have to do all the year round. Why did you stop? So they keep moving like that, but when they sense something that could be on the grass, they just may stop and find out what it is. Once they know or they're sure there is no danger, then they keep walking. I would say, Brian, should they die or should most of them die during the migration is only if there could be a very big drought. There is no rainfall, the grass have dried up, there is nothing green for them to eat. That can be a concern. But under normal circumstances, most of them die of predators, and predators, we're talking of either hyenas or leopards or lions or cheetahs, sometimes even the wild dogs. So what you see in the background, boys and girls, there is what we call the savanna. Savanna is an open area or a habitat that you only see grass and not much trees. Magic Dragon, every time I hear your name, I'm always happy. And in the Mara, we got two areas. There's areas that they call off-road, depending on the usage on area, and there are areas you cannot do off-road. So in the Mara, there's areas that the game rangers will allow us to do off-road, and there's certain areas that they do not. Where you're seeing the wildebeest there, Magic Dragon, we are not allowed to do off-road. But from where I am, on my right-hand side, you can do off-road. But they'll always insist, before you do an off-road, you must be sure that there is a high-profile animal, and more so, a cat of a kind, either a cheetah or leopard or a lion. You do not off-road if you're not sure there is no cat, for example. Interesting, zebras are moving in different directions and the wildebeest going in another. So kids, to remember, if you want to compare or try to imagine how or what animals are similar to zebras back home, we would think nothing but the horses. Only that the horses don't have the stripes, but zebras and horses are in the same family. Migration means animals moving from one point to another, and these animals, both the zebras and the wildebeest, will move from Kenya as a country to another country called Tanzania in a national park called Serengeti. And the movement in general is always clockwise, and they'll move all around the year, and they do not stop. And if they stop, they'll only stop once in a year, in the month of February, and they stop for about 1 week or 2 weeks when they're giving birth to the babies. And once the babies are strong enough to move, then the migration starts, and that's how they move, as you can see there. So the migration cycle is all around the year, non-stop. So it's difficult to know where they are. This particular year, they got to the Masai Mara or the Mara Triangle a bit late than we expected them, and we're also hoping they'll stay a little bit longer. So they make a very good gel, zebras and wildebeest, because we believe the wildebeest during the night, or rather the zebras during the night, see better, and if there's any concern or any danger, they alert the wildebeest, and during the day, the wildebeest tend to see better, and they blend in more in the grass than the zebras that can be spotted. So in the meantime, we are going to link to Sydney and find out what he got at
I am now around the quarantine area, not very far away from the Vuyotela pen. It is here where I'm looking for Hosanna, the little chief, a beautiful leopard in the area. So Hosanna must be hiding somewhere in this area at the moment. So I'm trying to check if we can be lucky with him. So the leopards, they can also sleep long hours like what the lions do. I am not seeing anything at the moment. Karen, Tingana is getting very difficult these days. I haven't seen Tingana for quite a long time now. I was hoping to see him yesterday, but it has been difficult for me to find him. There is quite a lot of small animals such as the impalas here, So if the impalas are so comfortable like this, it means if he is here where I am, he must be hiding very nicely. So Hosanna prefers to be somewhere here, not very far away from the water hole. If he has been spotted here in the morning, he might still be in the same area. It's just that he can be able to lie down flat and his color can be easily camouflaged. So the best place to look for Hosanna is near the water hole, and he also prefers to lie down by the old dry river beds. That is where he's hiding mostly. So now that I cannot find him here, I must have to now go and concentrate further down by the old dry river beds. So you can see the impalas are just here in front and they're not giving any warning signal. So it means Hosanna must be hiding much more this side. So now let's go back to Taylor, who is now driving to the Chitwa Dam.
I can see Chitwa Dam. I'm so excited, but before we even get down to the water, I'm going to show you a really big eagle. It's just sitting up top. I'm going to roll down a shakar off a roll as quietly as I can so I don't scare it away. There it is. So that is one of the most beautiful birds in Africa. And if you are from the United States, you might say, that's a bald eagle, Taylor. What are you talking about? But it isn't. It is an African fish eagle. They look very, very similar. Now, it's not really looking for any food at the moment. It's just sitting up on a stick. So they have territories. So there's actually a pair of them. There's a boy and a girl fish eagle that live around here. And all the other fish eagles want to come and live at Chitwa Dam because it's so beautiful and there's lots of water. So as you can imagine, they eat fish. That's their favorite thing to eat. But I've also seen them catching birds. They will scavenge. So scavenge means that they will eat any leftovers from any dead animals that have, just died or been killed by other animals. They'll clean them up. So nothing goes to waste out here. So it's just having a look around. Just making sure everything is all okay. Right, so we've had a look at the fish eagle, but I really want to take you down to the water, which is just over there. So that's where we're going to go. Maybe there'll be some elephants. I'm looking very, very carefully to see if I can find my favorite animal in the whole wide world. It's a little bit windy today. I'm sure you saw the feathers of that fish eagle as they were blowing around in the wind. Let's see. We don't want to race down too quickly. If we don't find any elephants, that's fine, because my next favorite animal, the hippo, is also here. And they've got lots of little babies, so they might be quite fun to watch this afternoon. And because it's nice and warm, we'll check up on all the banks to see if the crocodiles are out lying in the sun, sorry, not laying. Okay. So I think I'm going to go up onto the dam wall. There's another really cool bird too. You're going to love this one. Okay, so I think if I just go over here, we'll get a nice view of the hippos. There they all are. There's so many of them and they're really close to us today. So I'm going to go up and then I'm going to go onto the dam wall. Are you ready? Up we go. And then I think we're going to sit here. Here we go. This is a lovely spot to spend the afternoon. We can see everything now. We can see if anything comes down to drink at Chitwa Dam. So have you seen all the hippos yet? I'm sure you have. Those things that look like rocks, they're not rocks. That's the hippopotamus that I was telling you about. So there they all are, lots and lots of them. Now hippos pretty much spend all day in the water. They use the water to keep nice and cool. Although that one looks like it's got lots of scratches on it. Perhaps it's been naughty and has been fighting with some of the other hippos. But they're also really good at holding their breath, so we might have to wait about 6 minutes before that hippo comes back up. Oh, no, it's just leaving a trail of bubbles. So it's not swimming, it's walking along the bottom of the water. There it is. Let's see where it's going to come up. Maybe it's going to try and surprise one of the other hippos. You know how when you swim around in the pool and you pull your brother or sister's legs while you're under the water and then they get a fright? Maybe that's what that hippo is going to do. Where are you going? There it is. Is that one? No? There it is. Ah, I couldn't figure it out. And that's mom and baby hippos. See, I told you there were lots of babies here. Look how small it is. Maybe only a couple of months old, but it's very difficult to tell because it's hidden away in all that water. Mom's just keeping a close eye on us. No, actually, it could be a little bit older. Maybe about a year old. Now, you wouldn't want to go swimming with those hippos, even though it looks so nice. And on this hot day, I've even got my bikini on. I'm ready to dive on in to go and join the hippos, but I know that that's a very silly thing to do. It's very, very dangerous to do anything along those lines. Because hippos are actually one of the most dangerous animals in Africa. So even though they just eat grass, you've got to be careful of them. Not that little one, though. That little one hasn't even got any teeth. It looks like it's just got gums. Let's see if it opens its mouth again. What are you eating? Look at that. Look at all those gums. It looks like all the little ones have joined up. It's like they're all at the playground together. Those are all small hippos. They're standing on a little island. They prefer to touch the bottom so that they can stand a little bit easier. They're not so good. Ah, you won't believe what's sneaking up behind us. Look at that Egyptian goose. How cool is this? Are you ready? Are you ready? But Maggie, I'm first going to answer your question. I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to even show you what's happening right now behind us. So Maggie, hippos don't breathe underwater like fish. They're mammals, so they breathe air. They've got to come to the surface. And that's why it's quite nice that they've got their nostrils on the tops of their heads, so it's easy for them to breathe. Now remember how I said to you, I was hoping that if we just waited here long enough, that some of my favorite animals will come on down. Are you ready? There they are. There are the elephants. Hello, guys. Just on time. Just on time. That's a big mama elephant coming down with her little ones. It's not a very big herd of elephants today. Just a small group. Just 4 of them. Ah. Okie dokie. Well, this very exciting stuff. It seems as though the elephants have brought about all the animals today. Sydney was right in looking for Hosanna, and he's finally managed to find him.
Oh, look at that. Hosanna is very much relaxed here with me. You can see that he's breathing very fast, so he has been very tired. It has been a very long day to him. This is quite a beautiful cat. You can see his pink nose now and with the mouth open to try and cool the body temperature. Good afternoon, all stations. This is Sydney. I have got Hosanna here with me. So I was just giving the updates to the other stations in order to come and have a sighting. So you can see that Hosanna He's not doing anything. He has been here maybe for the whole day. As the cats, they normally select a very safe spot and lie down there. So Hosanna and the hyenas don't get along. So when he's lying down, every time he must be investigating with the ears if the hyenas are coming, so that he can climb up into a tree. So you can see the beautiful necklace there. So that is one of the ways I can easily distinguish Hosanna from the other leopards in the area. So it seems like all these other animals in the area are not aware of his presence, because none of them gave any warning since we have arrived in the area. We have looked everywhere, and animals, to them, is normal. So mostly leopards, you will see them just by themselves. Yes, you can see sometimes mother and young together until the young one reaches almost 2 years. That is when the young ones are going to now stand by themselves for their own survival. See what's happening to Hosanna now. He's not part of the family anymore. He is now doing his own things. Lola, the animals, they do experience quite a lot of heat. So, but animals such as these cats, they are very well gifted, because if they feel very hot on the ground, they climb up the green trees and cool down the body temperature. And some, they even go for swimming, like the elephants. They go and swim in order to cool the body temperatures. They do experience quite a lot of heat. So I've got another vehicle coming in to join me now on the sighting. So don't get surprised when hearing the cameras clicking and the engine around here. So this cat is not very far away from the waterhole. It's just about maybe less than 1,000 meters away from the nearest waterhole. So when wanting to drink, he will just walk short distance, drink and come back. So the animals that we saw earlier having some drink is the animals who are too clever. They know that by this time of the day, cats such as Hosanna is when they are resting. So animals got to do their own activities now during the day when the cats are resting. Then when the cat wakes up later is when animals are going to rest. So that is how the activities of the prey and the predators differs. So now Taylor is very lucky with the elephants by the Chitwa Dam at the moment. Let's see, maybe those elephants are swimming or might swim afterwards.
They are thirsty, thirsty elephants. They didn't go swimming, which I'm so sad to see. I thought we're going to see them doing my favorite thing, and then I was going to throw Maurice the elephant into the water with them and see if he wants to join in. Would you like to go for a swim, Maurice? Although he's wearing his shukka. See, he's got his very nice green, black, white, and red shukka on, all the Kenyan colors. Say hi to David and the Mara. Hello, David and Namara. There's Maurice. So he's very happy. He said hello to his friend David, and he got to see his cousins, the elephants. So there they are. Oh, look at that bird. Quickly look at that huge bird between the elephants. That's called a saddle-billed stork. Now, it knows better than to hang around, and I think that young elephant might chase it. That's not very nice. Leave that bird alone, little elephant. Otherwise, your Uncle Maurice is going to have a stern talking to you. off it goes. I think he is going to chase it. He wants to. Thinking about it. But a lovely small family group of elephants. Very nice to see them, but not hanging around, just having a drink of water. But it has been amazing. And I hope that all of you who have been watching the Nat Geo Kids show this afternoon have had a good time. And I hope that you all enjoy your weekend further. But thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you next Saturday. From all of us here at Safari Live, we'll see you all soon.
Look at Hosanna now there. I can see his focus now. I was trying to check what is it that he is looking for, only to find out that here where I am, Hosanna has got something to eat. This cat is so very lucky on the past 2 days. A very good afternoon and welcome to the beginning of the normal show. I am Sydney Mikosi. I am not alone at the moment. I am traveling with Senzo, who is my camera operator. And for your questions and comments, you can follow us on Twitter, #SafariLive. You can also follow us on YouTube chat stream. I do have quite a lovely sighting, and I am very surprised that Hosanna still have got a full kill here where I am of the baby nyala he caught yesterday. In other words, this cat has been very lucky to catch 3 different animals, and he placed them on different directions. Here I have got the nyala, and this nyala is not even yet started eaten. And next to the nyala, I can see that there is even some legs hanging from a different animal. This is showing me that Hosanna yesterday, where he was feeding on the remains of that daycare, he managed to take all the remains and come down here with them and combine the daycare together with the baby nyala. Is what I'm seeing at the moment. He did not finish what he was eating yesterday. The part that you are seeing now hanging there is from a different animal. Congratulations to Hosanna, who has been battling for quite a long time in search of food. Hosanna was so impatient. So now let's go back to Taylor and see what the elephants are doing. I will be here because I want to see what he is thinking about to do.
Here we have the elephants. So look at the Sally here. Welcome back again, everybody. She's clearly missing the tip of her trunk, most likely from a snare, which is very, very sad. But luckily, it's only a small part of her trunk. I've seen elephants with way worse before. So I think she's doing okay. I mean, I was watching her drinking. She didn't seem to struggle at all. Now, can you imagine in the next couple of days how these trees are going to be absolutely hammered by every single elephant that comes to drink at Chitwa Dam? They all seem to do the same thing. They come out of the drainage system, they come through and drink, and then they feed off into the drainage line. Now, they actually didn't stop for very long, but you can already see all the branches are broken, there's not very many leaves left, and I promise you, in just a few days, they'll completely demolish them. Now, everyone always says that elephants are destructive animals. They're not. They become, and they seem to be destructive when they're in an enclosed area, so like a small area where they can't roam around freely. Then yes, you see the effects of elephants browsing quite heavily in an area, but in an open system like the Kruger National Park, as long as the elephant population doesn't get over the carrying capacity, it's all right actually. But here they are feeding now. I'm just going to stop here. We'll just watch them. So Linda, VM and I said the same thing. We were wondering whether it was the short trunk herd, but I remember her having quite a young calf. Is it? Could it be? Have they just grown up so much? Have we forgotten that these animals actually age and get bigger? Because guides are terrible at that. I always say that. We keep animals for 6 months for about a year before they turn before they turn 7 months. It's always quite funny how that happens. So I don't actually know. I haven't seen the short trunk herd in ages. So it looks like they're browsing on sicklebush at the moment, which is an encroaching species here in South Africa, and it's quite a problem plant. I mean, if you go down towards the southern and the southwestern corner of the Sabi Sands, lining the Sabi River, it's just filled with it, and it does send toxins, tannins down into the ground that does prevent the growth of other plants. They can't grow as well. Obviously, they want to get all the nutrients and all the water for themselves. So they take over entire areas. And they're not particularly favored by the animals. The elephants eat them. Kudus browse on them occasionally. I've seen black rhino also nibbling on them. But they're not particularly delicious. Was that an acacia? I think no, maybe it's an acacia. I think there might actually be two trees growing in here, a sicklebush and an acacia. The one looked like it had spines on, or maybe I'm mistaken. And then, is it? If we go up where the leaves are a little bit greener at top, am I going crazy? Maybe it is just an acacia. I don't know. Oh well, no, I think I'm wrong. I don't think it's a sicklebush. My bad. Apologies, I got too excited. I'm going to go with the sun was glary on the screen. Can I use that as an excuse? Right, we'll just forget that even happened. Next, moving on swiftly, change of topic. Oh, it's a nice day today. Sun's out. Okay, let's find these elephants. Maybe some of our viewers who have been watching for a very, very long time can tell us if that's a short trunk herd. I'm quite interested to see what these red-billed hornbills are feeding on. There's quite a few of them. There's a number of different birds in the sand. What are you eating? They're all pecking around there. They also might be having a bit of a dust bath here and there. Oh no. There's a few bits of greenery that they seem to be utilizing, which is clever because that's where the insects are going to go. They're going to try and find the shady spots out in the open. Not only, of course, to be protected by the sun, but also to try and hide away from a bird just like the southern red-billed hornbill. But that, of course, is against them when there's only a couple of patches of green grass. The hornbills have worked this out. And look, they're just literally going from patch of grass to patch of grass or weed or whatever is growing out of there. Very interesting. Very nice little hornbills. Just wanted to see what they're eating. Probably little insects, maybe some beetles, something like that. Okay. What else? Oh no, these elephants are running away from us. Okay, I'm going to try and get around and catch up with the elephants or wait for more elephants to arrive. Sydney is now listening to the sounds of the bush.
I have just picked up an audio of the impalas trying to give some of the warning calls. These impalas are not settled, but here where they are, it's quite very difficult to see Hosana where he is, as we were on the other side, inside the dry riverbed. So we hear them giving warning calls. So I'm up here to see if maybe any of the other cats or the scavengers are also coming to the area. But I'm not seeing anything at the moment. So I'm going to have to drive back to the dry riverbed, back to Hosana, and see maybe something is going to come there. I was convinced enough that another cat or hyenas are coming. So I'm just going to now carry on and see if we can find something from inside the drainage. So the impalas are now very quiet, not giving the warning calls anymore. But I will be listening to them. So the fact that I'm not seeing what they are complaining for does not mean nothing is here. So if Tingana comes here, I don't know how Hosanna is going to be able to defend these two carcasses, because he's got the carcass here. You can see him there now. He's got the carcass there. He's just about to climb the tree now, I think. Look at that. So he's got a carcass here, and another carcass is at a very long distance. You can see now he's just about to climb that tree. Let's see what he's thinking now. He might climb that tree at any time. He's still checking where to step on. He's listening to what is happening. But I can promise you, if Tingana comes here, he is not going to be able to defend another full decal, which is at a distance of 1,000 meters away from where he is, or less now. Justin, I didn't copy your question very nicely. If you can repeat that for me, I will be now going back to... My favorite thing about Hosanna is that Hosanna is not depending to anybody, and at his age, he is now doing everything for himself, and when the big ones comes here, he doesn't have a problem. When they take away the food, he's going to go and hunt again, which is very interesting to see a youngster now trying to stand for himself. So we're going to see him feeding now. Lulu, Talamba has been hiding. I think the last sighting it was for Tandy, and Talamba was not spotted. But Talamba might be also in the area. It's just that Talamba and Tandy, they are always together in the same area, and Tandy is doing all the work. Which is good, because if Tandy and Talamba got something to eat where these other ones are, they will take away everything, and Talamba is going to starve a lot. So the kill that we just saw now from a baby nyala is a kill that has been taken yesterday. Instead of feeding on the fresh carcass of this morning, he doesn't want to waste his efforts. He is still going back to the food that he caught yesterday and eat them first. So now, let's go back to Taylor and see how she's doing by the Chitwa Dam.
Well, our elephants ran away from us because I was talking utter nonsense about the acacia/sickle bush. So they thought we cannot be in the presence of this amateur, so off they ran. No surprise. So we'll go find some other elephants that have no idea how much nonsense I can actually talk. We'll just pretend. Well, CNAC, that's a fantastic question. I'm so glad you asked that today. The differences between a sickle bush and an acacia is that an acacia tastes better than a sickle bush. No, I'm joking. That's not the only answer. But also sickle bush have got spines. So rather than thorns, acacias have thorns on them. So a thorn is a modified leaf, whereas a stem is a spike or a spine is a modified stem. Branch. See? Something. That is a definition, everybody. I would get 2 marks for that in an exam, in a Fogasa exam. Luckily, I don't think I'll be writing any more of those. Whew. Studying is hectic. I don't know if I can do that anymore. But anyways, luckily they taught me some things while I was young. Thank goodness. And now I don't know. Now there's just no hope for me whatsoever. Anyways, so that is one of the main differences. The leaf structure is fairly similar, and then of course acacias typically get little yellow flowers, whereas the sickle bush of course gets a yellow, pink and purple flower, which is so pretty. Sometimes it's called the Chinese lantern. It's really quite nice. Who are you waving at, VM? I thought VM was waving at something, and then I looked and went, there's nothing there. And I was like, okay. This is interesting. This safari's gonna be fun. No, I'm just teasing. So yeah. What else what other differences are there? I'm sure there's some more differences, I just can't think of them. But those are the main ones. But they do look fairly similar, but I should have known when I saw those big white thorns. But I don't know why I thought it just didn't. Thanks, Nikki. Thank you very much. Just in case I forgot, because my train of thought is not very good today. Okay, we're going to keep trying our luck around here and see if we can find anything. However, Sydney and David are winning the safari this afternoon, so best you go back to Hosana.
You can see now that Hosana is high up in the Tamboti tree where he is having his meal for this afternoon. He's got two different meals. He's got a meal from the Deka and a full meal from the baby Nyala. So you can see now that he's trying to scrape the hairs with the tongue, because the tongue is like a sandpaper. It's well equipped with some of the spines. Cats, they've got that, so they must have to every time scrape in order to get rid of the hairs so that they can access the meat. So where he's starting to feed, I can see he's starting from the intestines. So he likes to eat the intestines. I saw that yesterday as well, when he was also absorbing some of the stomach juice from the Deka yesterday. So the Tamboti trees has got quite a lot of branches to support the prey animal there. Oh, I got some intestines. You can see that now he's having the intestines right there. He has not yet started with the meat. So he's now taking out all the things that were inside the intestines. So probably those are the droppings which were maybe not yet ready to come out from this baby Nyala. So he's only eating the intestines and take out everything. Jeff, that is very true. This cat has been battling to catch the Dekas. Now everything is just happening in a very short space. Yesterday, he managed to catch a Deka, and he also managed to catch a baby Nyala. And this morning, we have got another fresh carcass. He caught another Deka. And this Deka is not far away from here. So I'm just going to wait and see what he's going to do. But chances of Hosana to lose the other Dekas, they are very high if other leopards comes to the area today. So now let's go back to Taylor, who is having something interesting at the moment.
I don't know if I'll be having something interesting. Maybe. We are having something interesting. We have a steenbok that was chased out of its hidey hole by a family of warthogs. It was less than impressed. But it always just amazes me how in summer, when the grass is nice and tall and these animals have got all sorts of things to hide around and behind, you cannot get a glimpse of one. I mean, it's like a game to try and get a quick glimpse of a steenbok or a Deka. Now in winter, where there's absolutely nothing for them to hide around and behind, I don't know why I keep saying around, and they're completely vulnerable and out in the open. They're so relaxed. That's awesome. I think she's off to another spot now. And View and I were commenting on the steenbok sort of anatomy. Their proportion is interesting, but I think the bottom side of the steenbok always looks so big, but I think it's because they're so fluffy. But they're very petite. I suppose it's a trend these days. Wonderful. Look, there's another steenbok going across, trying to make a run for it. We've got you, though. There's lots of steenbok that live around here. That's a little male. But we find that he's mated with that female we just saw. I'm assuming that their territories would overlap. They're so close. Ravinda, you want to pick this little steenbok in your arms? I don't know if I'd want to pick up a steenbok either. I feel like, especially a male, those little horns are so sharp, he'd stab you. So, I don't know. It's basically a porcupine antelope with those little horns like that. I would like to cuddle a wild dog puppy. I'm still convinced I'm going to cover myself with peanut butter and then just lay there, just waiting for them to come past. That's what I'd really like to do still. Ooh. John, I've got to think about this one. You might all have to help me because you know I have a memory like a goldfish. John has asked what is the most rare sighting I've had since I've started here at Wild Earth. The mongoose, the death feigning mongoose is probably the most rare thing I've ever seen. But in terms of like actually being rare, haha, I see you mongoose. Up top there, on that termite mound. It's actually squeaking. John, I can't think of what the most rare sighting I've had. Maybe of the white-throated robin chat. That's a bird. I mean, you don't see them very often. There's a little dwarf mongoose for you all to look at. I don't know. I don't know what the most rare thing is. Can someone help me? What is the most rare thing I've seen? I really cannot think of anything because I haven't seen a pangolin. I haven't seen an aardvark live. Oh, the caracal! VM, thank you. VM's won the safari this afternoon by reminding me that him and I saw a caracal on Chitwa Chitwa. That's probably the most rare thing that I've seen since I've been here. And a striped polecat in the Mara. Yes, those two things are probably the two most unusual and elusive creatures. There we go. Stella, you also said the caracal. That's exactly it. Look at that, though. Now, I don't know where the rest of them are. So you saw it. It's squeaking. It's actually making a different sound to what it normally does. I can hear the others, though. I'm just trying to find them. What is that? Yes, you see. There they are. They're the other mongoose. Now, I'm also looking around just to see if there's any predators about. If that's maybe the reason why that mongoose is on the termite mound squeaking. It's like it's on lookout for all those other ones. But I can't see anything. So I'm just quickly going to look behind, making sure I'm just checking behind us in the trees. Because it'd be quite cool to see that whole interaction if there was a predator about and them sort of alarming, warning the others. But that doesn't seem to be the case. But it seems distressed, don't you think? That's amazing. Sorry, VM. I don't know why this car is in gear, but it's just deciding it. Nope, it's just not going to stay in gear. Let me try the handbrake. That works. I've never heard this high-pitched call before from a mongoose. Normally it's that very sort of sound. Maybe it's been lost and it's finally figured out where everybody else has gone. There, it's running. Let's see. I'm just going to sit here for now. I just want to see if it does run. Maybe we can watch them reunite. It'll be a very happy ending. An incredible story. They're all doing it. They're looking. There it is. Somewhere there. Still just staying under the cover of the branches. Run, run. Oh, this is so sweet. It is going to be reunited with its family. What a beautiful story. No, I can't undo the handbrake. What a disaster. I don't know how we're going to undo the handbrake, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try and follow and watch. No, wait, can we stay here? Because there goes the little mongoose. I really would think it would be quite cool to see if they all go back to one another, if that's okay, if I'm allowed to. Madam Chair Lady, who is Nikki today. Nikki's back, everybody. I hope you've welcomed Nikki back. She got back yesterday from the Mara. She was on holiday, and now she's stuck with us in the Sabi Sand for a little while. Not going to run there. Okay, no. This mongoose has failed us. Perhaps I'll go and wait with the other mongoose once I work out how to take my handbrake out of gear. So why don't I send you all on to Sydney, who's with Hosanna, and he's up in the tree.
I can see that today is better than yesterday because Hosanna is doing something. He is feeding now. He might finish that decker the way he's feeding. I can see now he is cutting all the ears. You can see that now he's trying to eat the head of the small nyala, the baby nyala that he caught yesterday. And how he's lying on that branch. It looks so easy to climb up there. So the hind legs are so very powerful in order to push this body high up. So I am very surprised. The first time for me to see a leopard now combining two different kills together, whereas one of the kills has been taken from another tree to here. He first brought the baby duiker here. Yeah, he first brought the baby nyala here yesterday, and then today we are surprised that he brought the remains from yesterday right at the same spot, whereas he's got another kill again on the other side. It's amazing to see that this cat knows that if some of this food is left by some of the trees, some of the other leopard might come and take. But I think to me, he was supposed to bring the new decker that he caught because he might lose it as a whole. So you can hear that this cat has got very strong jaws, how he is breaking the bones. So yeah, the little ones, the bones are not that very strong. He's used to eat the very hard bones. You can see the tail for balance is every time waving the tail. So the body is so flexible. Look at how this cat is grabbing on that branch and how he's leaning against those two branches of this tambuti tree. There is no chance he can fall. So the tambuti trees are way much better than the amarula trees that is always hiding food on. Because here there's quite a lot of branches coming out for him to stack the meat. Brendan, I have seen the African wild cats on several occasions. I used to work for the South African national parks, and I've been to quite a lot of national parks before. And where I used to work, I used to see at one stage I found where the African wild cat had the babies. I used to go there at night, but suddenly then the cat decided to change the hiding place of the babies. So now let's go back to David in the Masai Mara and see how his search is going on the other side.
Well, sorry everybody, we have been having lots of gremlins and glitches, but now we are back and in business. We truly apologize for that. These are things that will happen once in a while. But that notwithstanding, we've got very good news. I was talking about earlier having seen females and maybe looking for the big male. And now we are very lucky we have the big boy when we come to the cats. Sorry about the vehicles around here. When we say king of the jungle, I don't like saying king of the jungle. I like saying king of the savannah. truly king because you can tell he is flat asleep, and I'm trying to imagine he is full of wonderful and beautiful dreams. If there could be any of those kids watching, we saw females earlier, and I was telling you the difference between females and males is the hair or the fur that you'll see on the neck and on the head of this particular type of lion, and that's why it's a male and not a female. He's massive male by virtue of his size, and I'm very happy to hear you're all excited to have seen me, back again in circulation. And my apologies, me and Manu have been out, but I think it was for a good reason, because we ended up seeing this big male lion, and the wind is trying to blow his fur. And yes, I would agree with you, this could be Scarface. Manu, do you agree? Manu says no. But we'll be finding out the moment he puts his face straight to us, because he's not very far from where the girls normally are. The three girls, we have seen him once in a while. And I think, Nikki doesn't agree with Manu, and Manu is always saying north when Nikki is saying south. He's not very far from where the three girls of the Mogoro Pride are. And once in a while, we have seen Scarface hanging around with them. But he's either way very good looking male and in very prime age. I would say he's a very prime male lion. And the wind is just blowing its far there. And you see the difference in colors of the front. As much as there's a bit of light range there, the color of the mane on the head is a little different from the one on the neck. The one on the neck is much darker. And when females want to mate, they have been known to be very selective. Well done, Manu. And this is the kind of boys they'll be looking for. Look at his pose. Look at the belly. Looks like the fur has been combed using a very fine comb. Not a single fly. Many times you look at the tummies of lions and you see them on the bellies having so many flies. This is rather strange. I can't see one single fly. Not sure he doesn't have anything the flies would like. But why wouldn't you call him the king of the savannah? Just looking around where he is, there's nobody close to him, and doing what lions are known to do best, just sleeping. It has been estimated males might go 16, 17, 18 hours sleeping. And as soon as he'll be up, I'll be able to identify who exactly he is, whether he's part of the sausage tree males or Scarface himself. But in that angle, it's rather difficult to tell what coalition he belongs to. One thing is certain, I enjoy looking at him. Alrighty, we got Nikki in the final control, who is an expert in identifying so many cats, not only in Kenya, but also in South Africa. And she is like, David, give me more time. I'll be able to tell you who he is. And the only challenge he is giving us is the angle he is lying down with. So if he gonna turn, I don't know if there will be any fly or a bird that will just come and start looking for any ticks or anything on him. He might rise and shine. Sorry, Rosalind asked, do lions do what? Rosalind, I think your question is, do lions roar like house cats? Not really. Not really. I mean, lions are different, and I would say the house cats could be more similar to the cheetahs. The cheetahs would say will purr, and the lions will roar. And if you look at them carefully, there's something that we call a high note right below on the neck or the throat of the lions, and it's the one for the big cats is kind of broken, and for that reason they are able to roar. And cheetahs and other smaller cats are not able to do that. That's why we say they do purr. But all the big cats, I'm talking about lions, jaguars and leopards, are able to roar also, but not the cheetahs or the cats. We will stay here and wait until this lion wakes up and find out who exactly he is. And in the meantime, let's find out some of the smallest carnivores we have in the world from the biggest carnivore we have in the world.
Goodness, it sounds like a construction site where we are at the moment, but the tractors are really busy. Now, if you're wondering what on earth are you doing out of the vehicle, Taylor, it is dangerous. I'm fine, I checked, don't worry. Now, just over here where VM was zoomed in a moment ago is a little termite mound, and there were a whole lot of dwarf mongoose, like lots of them. But unfortunately, they're a bit nervous for me to come out. A few of the youngsters, all the little pups, were sitting here. Sorry, there's a tractor coming past. Of course, we're never actually, you know, this is not going to work. When you do these things, it needs to be very quiet all around. But it won't work if there's tractors going up and down. So that was an absolute fail. Anyways, it was quite cool because while we were waiting, we had a couple of the young pups stick their heads out and have a look at us. And they were very curious and they were squeaking. And I did it the other day. I went for a run. I'm just going to climb back in. I went for a run and it was absolutely amazing. There was this one, no, there were two of them, sorry, that were squeaking at me the entire time. But with the whistling that's going on now, I think we're actually going to move off of here and go back to Juma. Oh well, next time. But they were quite relaxed. It was pretty cool. Would have been nice because there were so many of them. That was a bit of a fail though. James, I don't know if I've seen a Salu mongoose before. I don't think... did I see one up in the Mara maybe? I'll look now on my book. Sorry, I'm moving away from this tractor because I have to hear that sound anymore. Gunda, 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 gunda. There's nothing quiet. I don't know why they haven't made tractors quieter because, oh, it's not a nice noise. Okay, let's carry on. I'm just going to go around the corner and then I'm going to open my book and just quickly see if we have a look at a Salu mongoose. I think if I stop here, we should be good. Okay. Then have a quick look for a picture. Mongoose, we're back here. Bandit, no. I don't know if it'll be in this book. We can try. No, I don't have a Salu mongoose. Not in this mammals book. This is just one of my. It's got some interesting things in it, but it's not one that I always use. So no, James, I don't actually know. Trying to think, maybe if Sydney would know, Brent would definitely know if there's Salu mongoose here. He's also, or Tristan, or James, have been working in the sands forever, but I personally have never seen one. I've seen banded mongoose. I've seen obviously the dwarf mongoose, which I was trying to show you now, which we saw earlier. I've also seen we see lots of slender mongoose. VM and I saw two yesterday. Oh, what little frenzy's going on here? This is a great bird party. We've got the hornbills, which are normally around. Let's see if they all fly back down on the ground. Yeah, here we go. Another one. There's quite a few of them. They're also, I'll just name a couple of other birds that they've flown off. There were some starlings and also barbets. What have they got though? I can't see what they're eating. Very busy. But there are a whole bunch of them down on the ground. I wonder if there's termites or something. Here we go. They're termites. They're harvester termites. That's what they were all gobbling down on. Now the reason why I know that they're harvester termites is that it's very typical behavior to have half-cut pieces of grass at the edge of their tunnel. Now you can see some of them are desperately trying to get away. I think the soldiers will be coming in, although the only good that they could do is maybe bite on the bird's feet as a deterrent. But luckily for the hornbills, they have that very long beak which allows them to feed at a distance where something like a harvester termite can't really bite their face or get in their eyes. Oh goodness, this is an unfair battle, isn't it? gobbling down as many as you can. Look at all these hornbills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yellow-billed hornbills, all coming to take advantage of the harvested termites. Goodness, don't deplete the entire population, please. They're very important to the ecosystem. Luckily for us, there are thousands and thousands of termites that live in a colony, and they reproduce on the daily. So what will happen now, which is actually quite interesting, is that all this information that their colony has been raided, that information will be fed back by the workers to the queen, and she'll start producing eggs accordingly. Look at this, there's so many of them. Actually, have a little listen. This is actually incredible. It's a massive colony of termites. They've got quite a few different entrances. They're all trying to escape and get back underground. You see, the hornbills are not particularly good at digging with those big bills. They can break into other termite mounds, like the large fungus-growing termites that make their mounds above the ground, and if there's been any repair work, they'll break through quite easily with their beaks. But they can't get below the surface of the earth, so that's why they're trying to eat them as quickly as they can before they all disappear. All squabbling with one another, sorry. Look at them all. There's so many. I don't think I've ever seen so many hornbills together in one spot. There's a yellow-billed hornbill, a red-billed hornbill in the mix too now. But I suppose when there's not much food around like this, if you see somebody swarming, you take that opportunity and you go for it. Lovely. Wonderful. Well, some great bird interaction there. Off you go back to Hosana, and he'd have a field day playing with these feathered friends.
We can see now from the small carnivores, the mongoose, to the large cat, the leopard. So unfortunately, I haven't seen the Silu mongoose here in the Juma Game Reserve. And also where I used to work, I haven't seen such a lovely mongoose before. You can see now that Hosana is holding the baby Nyala like a small baby. The legs are confusing, because if you can check the color of the legs hanging is different. We've got 3 different short legs, and one is very, very long. So the long leg is just combined there. It's not from the Nyala. Lulu Leopard, you have asked a very interesting question, because I can hear that your name is also related to the leopards. These kind of big cats, they don't like eat everything at once. So he can come and eat here. When he's fine, he will just go and have some water, come back, lie down and carry on. So when something is high up by the tree, it doesn't have any stress, as the competition is very much low. He might lose this carcass, how he's holding it. Brandon, something very interesting took place already, and it was the first time for me to see it. Instead of starting from the thighs and the legs, this cat started from the head, and the head is finished. He's eating the bones, and I can see that he was selecting and taking off the teeth. So that was too clever. He is now busy crushing the bones. Listen to that. So you can hear that he is definitely crushing the bones. So I'm sure the bones of a small animal, the bones of the small animal is not the same as the bones from the large animals. So he haven't lost a lot of things on the ground. I can see that the bones, he's eating them. And those bones he's eating now is the ones that are going to turn his droppings to become light white when they're completely dry. Rina, Hosanna, I have seen it happening. He can try, but he's not going to win that battle. He just have to be submissive when Tingana comes, and Tingana will take it and eat. That has happened on several occasions before. But as time goes on, the testosterone level in Hosanna is going to go very high, and he will start to defend everything. So when he's at the age of about 4 years, above 4 years, that is when he's going to be challenging, I'm sure, Tingana a lot. And at that time is when Tingana will also be getting very old. Proud cat mama. So these cats can be able to eat up to 30 to 40 kilograms of food. So you can see now that he's not even chewing, he's just cutting all the meat and just swallow them as they are. He's got a very strong digestive system which is going to digest all these, including the bones. And I think eating the bones to him is a good thing because the bones are rich in calcium, and this calcium will also help to maintain his body bones. You can hear now that he's busy going down the neck bones. Rainy, it is not normal. I think what is causing that is that this cat is very much clever. He's using the water hole as a central point of attraction. And if we caught something next to that water hole, obviously these other animals are still going to come to the very same water hole for drinking purposes. And some of these animals, when these cats are hiding up by the trees, they don't see them. So that is when he's going to come down and hide somewhere and just keep catching. I think his advantage at the moment is the water hole. John, my rare sighting that I have experienced here in the Juma Game Reserve, it was a sighting that took place on my first day. My first game drive, I experienced something very interesting. It was amazing. You know, I met this leopard, and this leopard was right on the stem of a tree, and the leopard was doing like this. And I was not too sure what he was looking at. And concentrating on where he was looking, I saw the two avoca males. And these avoca males started stalking the leopard. And this leopard ran away. And the avoca males followed that leopard. Where the leopard went to, another leopard came. And now the two avoca males were after two leopards. But this leopard started fighting, and one of them went up. I think the name of that leopard was Shidulu. Shidulu went up to a tree, and this other one just got disappeared. And the avocas were waiting to see if that one is going to come down. That one, to me, it was the best sighting ever. He's just about to finish with that little baby Nyala, but there's still much left there. You can see that when these cats are lying down during the day is when they're trying to save the energy in order to use now. Because you can see he's feeding and balancing, and every time he's holding the food, because otherwise it's going to lose it. So the neck, the muscles on the neck must be very much strong. So this is not a job. It's not an easy job. So it's not a job for a hungry animal. So you can see this is not a job for a tired animal. So you can see that there is quite a lot of strength needed. The strength to eat, the jaws must be strong, the neck must be strong, the legs must have to create a balance, and the legs must have to hold. There is quite a lot of things needed for this cat to be successful until he finish eating that food. So you can see now that he's now starting to get the blood everywhere. The favorite part of the kill I have seen for this is what is in the stomach, because that is where they always start. So they prefer the parts such as the livers, parts that has got a lot of blood, because when they're eating this kind of blood, it helps them in order to have quite a lot of moisture in them. Instead of going to the water hole, they can just rest there, because they've got to defend it. So the other animals are just coming and passing by, not even seeing him. They can't even hear him crashing bones. I have seen a couple of impalas as well passing by, and that gave me a sign that these animals, they only concentrate on the ground to look out for these predators. They don't check them high up by the trees. So now let's go to the Masai Mara, where David is driving around to try and get you something interesting at the moment.
Well, Hosanna remains my favorite leopard, being the very first leopard I saw when I was in South Africa. And our sun here seems to be going down, and we're seeing such a beautiful sunset. Very good job there, Manu. And at times I always think if I could get a glass of apple juice and just sit somewhere and watch those beautiful colors until the sun goes down. Isn't that wonderful? Manu, do you think you're doing a good job? Well, Manu is talking of Mother Nature giving us its best, which is true. And every time I keep repeating, sunsets and sunrises in Africa are just out of this world. And, you know, Nick in the final control says that's an excellent job. And it's more so the sunset than anything else. All the beautiful natural colors you'd want to see are all out there for you. And the thick clouds top right there, not an indication of rain. I've been seeing that almost every other sunset for the last 1 week, and we haven't got a drop of rain at night. So it's just part of how it should be as the sun goes home, preparing for another day tomorrow. And that tells you definitely we are facing west. Great balanitis tree there. Temperatures have gone down, and you can tell the light there is a lot different than when you're watching the sunset. And that's the beauty of the wilderness of the Masai Mara, or the Mara Triangle. Oh, that's an open area where we see once in a while wildebeest just roaming through. And it's one area that was burnt like about a month ago, and after the rains came, we can see the short grass now just came up. Great clouds there. Simoki Mark, you say the colors inspire you. I would agree with you, or I wouldn't agree with you, Father. Get inspired, and maybe get inspired and make your way to Africa one day, either in Kenya or South Africa, and come and see this firsthand. Manu will still be here to keep us all entertained, right, Manu? And just look at that. That reminds me of the Drakensberg Mountains in South Africa that you could see from a distance sometimes when you were out on game drives, especially in the mornings. They appear to me, or rather in the evenings, they appear to me very colorful. That looks like a snowball there, as much as we don't have any snow here. And if any snow you see around or close to where I am would be somewhere near or on Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. Great sunset, great camera work. Seems like you can see the colors rainbow there. I do not know where rainbow would be now. Rain's not coming any time soon. Fantastic. We'll move on, and we'll be looking, or anybody who would be below this sunset here, and I'm imagining wildebeest or zebras are not very far from where we are. Manu, thank you for that very good job. And talking of very rare sightings that we get out here in the bush, I only remember one that I saw right here, not very here where I am, but in the Masai Mara. And normal game drive as usual, zebras, giraffes, a few birds here and there. And I saw two Tommies, Thompson gazelles. All right, bit of corrugation there on that part of the road, and two males of Thompson gazelle. But just watch them fighting. Many males of whatever species of animals in Africa will fight for different reasons, and more so because of territory or for mating rights. So these two boys of Thompson gazelles fought, and the Tommies kept fighting, and we stayed there watching them for about half an hour. And in general, there's always a winner. Anytime you see two males fighting, even if they're cats, lions or leopards, ideally there'll be a winner. Rarely you get a fight coming out on a draw. So the toppy that was beaten so badly, lost one eye, and one of its horn was broken, and it was full of blood. All the face was full of blood. And as soon as he knew he was losing, he lay down there, and apparently the winner came and mounted on the loser. That was really crazy, and Nick in Final Control says that was really crazy. And finally, the winner walked away. So we were left with the loser laying down there, nursing his wounds. And out of the blues, we saw two jackals that just popped up. And they tore that Thompson gazelle apart while still alive. I had guests with me, and one of the guests, who was a lady, broke down and said, you know what, it's time to go back to the camp. And they did not want to watch that anymore. I mean, to me, that was one of the most rarest, I would say, sighting I've ever seen in the wilderness. All the time we sat there, I didn't see, and not even the guests I had on board, saw the jackals. Wherever they were, I think they were laying down, and most likely they knew the end result of that fight. And whoever would have lost would be in very bad shape, and of course very easy prey for them to bring down. And they did not even have to strangle him or to suffocate him. They just started tearing him apart. And I mean, that to me was quite a rare sighting. I don't think I've seen anything like that before. And getting close to some wildebeest. Cassia, if you're lucky, will swing by where the jackal puppies was seen the other day by Jamie, and who knows, we might find them. So I got a plan of swinging by that area where she saw them, because jackals tend to have dens, just, you know, like hyenas, and chances are if we miss the jackals, we might see their hyenas. At least one of the two, Katya, or if we are lucky, we might see both of them. Who knows? Just keep your fingers crossed. We still have a lot of time out here in the wilderness. For those of you who have never seen a Thompson gazelle, I was just thinking, I might show you. Many of you look to the left there. I don't know how far those Thompson gazelles are. I was talking about my rarest sighting. It involved Thompson gazelle. Sorry, those are Grant's gazelle. But hopefully, if you see Thompson gazelles, we'll show you how they look like. Those are Grant's gazelle and not Tommies. And hopefully, if you see the Tommies, we'll show you how they look like. Well, Taylor is driving around, and let's find out what's the latest where she is.
Well, David, I have a request, please. I would very, very much like to see the jackal pups again. So something caught my attention. I couldn't work out what it was. I think it was a guinea fowl that had jumped up on a fallen tree, but then it jumped down again. I think that they're beautiful, and I think that jackals actually stole my heart in the Mara. I've seen jackals and puppies, and I've seen their dens before, but never at such a close proximity, and never have I had, you know, 3 young pups. No, 4, the Fantastic 4. I don't know why I thought there were 3. 4 of them playing around the car, the way that those 4 did it was really amazing. So yeah, that's another experience I don't think I'll ever forget. And again, I think that's a very unique aspect of the Mara, is that you get to see so many of the smaller things too. It really is a wonderful wilderness area. Look at also spending the most time I've ever spent with bat-eared foxes. That was really cool. Also seeing the young bat-eared foxes too. That was also pretty spectacular. So, yeah, I don't know, serval for days. I mean, the serval was so relaxed there. Poor pigs. Well, there we go, Aunt Joe. That was my favorite thing of the Mara. I think was the jackal, the serval, the bat-eared foxes, and then who doesn't enjoy watching warthogs as they zigzag through the bush? Very beautiful with the golden light. But unlike the Mara warthogs, this lot are not hanging around. They don't seem to be as tolerant of the vehicles. Where's Wilbur the warthog when we need him? He's fine. He's relaxed. He doesn't mind us at all. He embraces it. I think he likes to be on camera, Wilbur the warthog. I need to try and find him. I have to say goodbye to him as well. Oh, you know what we can do? Sorry, Vim, is that it's so pretty. I'm going to have a quick look at the sunset. Oh, where's our gap? Lots of trees. Okay, we'll have to do a abstract shot, but it's so stunning with all the wispy clouds, all the cirrus clouds. It's going to get dark quickly this evening, though. But the colors that are stirred in the sky are just gorgeous. Isn't that lovely? It's a pity we don't have a bird just silhouetted up on one of those trees. That would be even more amazing. Or a squirrel, or something else along those lines. But a gorgeous view nonetheless. Look at that. Oh, we can hear the green wood hoopoes, the shegamafazis also. I'm sure you heard them. Wonderful. Always got to stop to have a look at the sunset. I'm sure you all agree, whether it's in traffic, whether it's on the beach watching the sunset over the ocean, or out here in the wilderness areas of South Africa. So, very important. I think it's a great way to reflect at the end of the day as well. Right, now we just drove over the dam wall. We saw Sydney and Senzo staring up into the trees, so Hosanna must still be laying up there.
Oh, look at that. Now I'm still here. If you don't look at Hosanna nicely with the tail shaped like that, now it looks like a baboon's tail. A tail which is good in order to balance the babies when they're seated at the back there. So this cat is so comfortable. Colchicks, the fight for the territory has to take place because maybe there are other males who are interested to come to the area that we are not sure of. Yes, Tingana, chances of Hosana to take over, they are there, but they are very slim because he is still very young. So he's not ready yet in order to challenge for the territorial reasons. Oh, he just nearly fell there now. So these cats are well gifted. He didn't even look back, but he managed to balance from the back legs. So these cats are agile climbers. So you can see now that the side of the mouth has got quite a lot of red blood. Angelina, I have once seen the vultures feeding from a carcass up in a tree. So those kind of birds can be able to, now I think he is battling in order to stand there. He nearly fell again. So the vultures can be able to come and eat also from this, but only when the predator is not there. Let's see now. It seems like he's going to go down now. He's looking at another piece. Oh, now he's going to spice the common daker with the... I thought he was going to spice common daker with the remains from yesterday, which is from this nyala. He wanted to mix the nyala and the daker. So let's see what he's thinking. He might come down at any time now. I have seen leopard scent monkeying on several occasions. You'll see them spraying and also using some of the facial gland. So the facial glands, they use them in order to demarcate. So maybe he wants to go to the other side now in order to see if nobody is going closer to the other carcass. Let's see how he's going to come down. That's very heavy now. I could hear how he landed there. So he must have to lie down. Now you can see this, the bellies are full now. Armand, these cats, they remain with the families when about 18 to 22 months is when they are now going to isolate themselves from the families. But at that stage, they are not yet ready to breed. They will then start to breed when they are older than 4 years. So it means he will start showing us his territorial behavior when he's older than 4 years. That is when he will be strong enough to challenge the other males for territorial reasons. So I can see that now he is trying to clean himself. You can see that he's got quite a lot of blood on the side of the mouth. So he must have to moisturize the front foot and then clean the face. If he doesn't do that, then other animals tomorrow will be able to detect him from a distance because of the distinctive smell coming from the blood. So I'm just going to move a little bit forward so that we can have a good view of this leopard. David, that is true, but he's going to wait. He must have to every time eat and give a digestion a little bit to take place, because otherwise, you can see now he's coughing. So maybe he's affected by some of the hairs that he ingested while he was feeding up there. So I don't think he's going to go back and feed by the other kill now, because the stomach to me looked very full. You can see that leopards can easily groom themselves. And when he's doing this, it helps them because they can also collect some of the debris, the dead hairs from the body. But the problem is those dead hairs, they end up in the stomach because he scrapes them, and right at the tongue, at the back of the tongue, he's got some spines which will then make him to swallow those hairs. So those hairs will then come out together in the form of hairballs. Lynn, the blood that they take from the carcass, you must remember that the animal, when they catch them, is when they are very active, and the meat as well does have some blood, but you will get quite a lot of blood from the liver, but those blood is not like good enough for them to survive for the whole day. You still have to go, and that is determined by the season. If it's too hot as well, he must have to go and drink, because climbing a tree and eating and balancing there is tiring, and he does lose quite a lot of water through holding, and it's a hard labor. He must then go and drink water. Here you can see that he is listening to some of the birds calling. I think at this stage he's on a very defensive mood. So now let's go to David by the Masai Mara, who is just driving, and see what he is looking for.
Well, the sun has gone down here, and we have not gone down ourselves, as much as I'm sure Hosanna is entertaining all of us. We're being entertained here by wildebeest, and this is the short grass I would want Manu to show you on the right just for a few seconds, and you see what I was talking about. Once the area gets burnt and then the rains come, this is the kind of grass that we see. I didn't mean to ambush you there, Manu, but you can tell, and you can hear the wildebeest in the background going And this openness of the Masai Mara makes it so colorful, very similar to the national park next to us called Serengeti, which you can look sometimes up to 10 miles, 10 kilometers or 7, 8 miles straight, not seeing any visual pollution, flat plains. And the wildebeest tend to enjoy this short grass. They're in their thousands, not hundreds, in their thousands. And this is what migration is all about. You can just keep hearing whatever they say. But the times when they move in all different directions. And I've always thought they're always saying north, south, east, west. Because when you look at them carefully there, they got all different, their heads are facing all different directions. Even when they move, it's all the same. And Nick gets excited when I say north, south, because, we haven't seen people, of all the researchers that I know of, I've seen researchers on elephants. We got Michigan University here in the Masai Mara researching hyenas, especially the Wafos of the North Clan. We have seen people researching cheetahs. Nobody I have heard or known who have been interested to study wildebeest. Maybe me and Manu might set up a research when we retire and start studying we'll be able to find out why that calf is very happy as she runs. But with all lots of food and all the water and the openness, I mean, everything is in abundance, they should be very happy running. And maybe we might having two predators close to each other in South Africa.
You can see now I have got another predator coming to approach Hosana at the moment. I've just seen that Hosana was concentrating on something. So maybe this is one of those hyenas that were giving him problems a few days ago when he nearly lost his hip. So I can see that the hyena is trying to investigate and checking. So maybe they are going to confront each other in a very short while. You can see his movement now that he is looking at something. I do have the hyena at the moment here. And this hyena is trying to sniff. So you can see now that the hyena is right here, and then he is trying to approach from that angle. So this hyena is sniffing here. You can see that they've got a very good sense of smell. So maybe something is going to happen here, because I can see that this hyena is now climbing, is now getting very much closer. But still investigating where the carcass is. So these are the kind of other predators in the area which are giving Hosana quite a lot of challenges. You can see that he's sniffing a lot. Yeah, it was a very interesting drama when the hyenas nearly got hold of Hosana. He has just been narrowly escaped. You can see now that hyena is not too sure where the food is, but he's going around here checking everywhere. And now I can see him running away at a very fast speed. So this hyena could not manage to see where the carcass is. So now let's go to Taylor, who got the wild dogs at the moment.
Yay! Of course I'm back with the wild dogs. I want to spend every single minute that I can with them, because it's not very often that they pass on through, and I always say that whenever they're on the property we need to make the most of them. So this isn't one of the puppies though, as you can see it's much larger. It's one of the females. I don't think that she's the mother. I think, oh yeah, the puppies, here they come. Hi babies. Oh, they're so cute. Look at them. I mean, I don't know, if you don't think a wild dog puppy is cute, then I think you need to get yourself checked at the vet, because, I mean, that is just absolutely adorable. Look at that pose as well. Oh, I keep getting them when we don't have the greatest of light, so you're all going to have to take screenshots so that I can please share them, because I haven't been able to get a photo of all of them. So I would absolutely love it if you could get one or a few for me. That's my request for this evening. Oh, what have you seen? Sounds like they... Is that the buffalo? Yeah. You hear that? There's an interesting sound coming from that direction. It sounds like my stomach when it gurgles when I'm hungry. That wild dog was definitely interested. I have no idea what that sound was. Oh well. You also don't care. One of the adults has just sat down, and so did one of the little puppies. That is so precious. We're, again, an action-filled afternoon out here in the Sabi Sand and also in the Mara Triangle. A young boy They're beautiful. I love their markings. Wild painted, so no, I don't think they suckle one another's pups, and the reason why I say this is because it's only the dominant pair that does the breeding. So there is only going to be one female that theoretically should be lactating, so the others wouldn't be lactating. With lions, and for example, that do allosuckle their young, and the other young within the pride, is that the reason for this is that there's more than one lioness that's producing milk. So there was only one lioness that was in the pride and producing milk. The others wouldn't suckle from any of the other females. So no, they don't. Here comes another adult. Also, there is I just want to let you know in case these dogs get a fright. There's a helicopter coming over. I think it's anti-poaching going out and doing all their patrols. Yeah, you get into trouble. Look, being put in their place very quickly. Gemma, I've had a guess at it, and just from looking at their sort of age and how big they are, I think that they're probably around between 4 and 5 months old or so, somewhere along those lines. So they're still quite young. But as we've seen, they are feasting upon meat. Oh, you're getting all excited now. Little pups, or playing with one another. I'm hoping they're going to come up to the car and see what the vehicle's about, but we will just wait for them to do that. Remember, we can't stay here for too long. We won't stay here till after dark. I'm just hoping they're going to vocalize a little bit more. No, doesn't seem like we're going to be that lucky, but that sound is absolutely incredible. Oh, they're so precious. There they go. When they run to the adults, they make quite a bit of noise. So I heard that there were 7 of these puppies, but unfortunately one of them passed on. So that was very sad, but as you can imagine, there's lots of things that are against these little wild dog puppies. Where are you going? Being told to go home. Caitlin, no, I don't think wild dogs would be able to take down a buffalo. Perhaps if it was a very young buffalo calf, then perhaps the adults would be able to. But remember, buffaloes live in breeding herds, and they don't really tolerate any intruders. We've seen buffalo herds chasing away lions, chasing away any predators. So a wild dog really is not going to be a match at all for a buffalo. And I think they know this. I think that they would keep away and not bother with them whatsoever. So where did the puppies go? Oh, they're playing down the road. Sorry, it's just kind of out of sight behind that worry tree. But you can just sort of see them rushing around, chasing one another. The adults just keeping an eye out. But luckily for the wild dogs, they've got such incredible hearing, so that before anything can make a move, they've picked up on whatever it is moving towards them, and they can react. For instance, like a hyena. Yes, Lulu Leopard, you can indeed tell the gender of the puppies. We just saw a young male now. I don't know if you saw. It obviously is quite difficult because they don't stand still for very long. But, I mean, we can try. Maybe with some better light. I have seen a couple of males. See, there's... Is that... What am I looking at? No, that looks like... Is that a male? That's a male there. I got excited. I thought that was the female. That was maybe the mom, but that looks like a boy. You can indeed. You just got to look very carefully, of course. But it is. I find it to be a lot more obvious with the dogs than, for example, something like lions and leopards to try and sex at the same age. Just taking a rest, though. I love that pose. It's a very iconic pose of the wild dogs. JC Charles, if all things go according to plan, they should stay with the pack for the rest of their lives. Well, that's the idea behind it anyways, is that they probably won't separate at all. And they'll just stay and carry on and hopefully hunt bigger game. So yeah, but unfortunately it's very sad with wild dogs. You often see the packs getting to, over 20, and then something will come through again. This is normally the factor when they get to 20 or 30, then something like canine distemper or rabies sort of gets them, and then pretty much wipes out the entire pack, and then they've got to start again with maybe 1 or 2 surviving. Look at the little socks on the back feet. That's so precious on that one. Oh, that's adorable. They've all got their own unique markings. So I hope you've all started taking sort of screenshots of these young pups, because it'll be interesting to see as they get older who actually makes it. And hopefully they just hang around for long enough, and hopefully this breakaway pack of dogs also stays within the area. I suppose as long as there's food and water around, there's no need for them to move too far away. But we do know that dogs don't like to stay in the same spot for a very long time, which is why we enjoy these moments and every moment with them. I don't know what the adults will get up to, whether they'll go maybe hunt. They don't. I mean, they obviously don't have big bellies like the young puppies, but like we've been talking about since yesterday, the priority is that the puppies are full and they are healthy, and the adults will give up a meal quite happily, even to someone that's maybe sick and injured that hasn't been able to go out and hunt and has had to stay behind. They will come back and make sure every single one of the dogs in the pack is fed. They've got an incredible social bond. Fast asleep now. Panting. It's still quite warm. Still very warm, in fact. Just lifting your heads up every now and then to see what's going on. Superbikes? No. So the social structure within wild dogs and hyenas is slightly separate. There isn't a matriarch, so it's a dominant pair. So it's kind of like with, for instance, with the mongoose that we see, the dwarf mongoose. So there's a dominant pair that does most of the breeding, and then the rest of the pack, or shall we also bring in southern ground hornbills, where the rest of the animals within that group will actually help raise those young. So even though, you know, the other females might not be doing any breeding, they know how important it is to keep raising those youngsters, and they too will come back and regurgitate for the puppies even though they haven't given birth to them. So that happens, like I said, with the southern ground hornbill species, where there's a pair that breeds and everybody else sort of comes through and will help raise them, make sure they have enough to eat and that they're well looked after, which is pretty awesome to see. But we won't be able to stay here much longer, I'm afraid, as the sun is going to go down fairly quickly. And like I said, even with the infrared, I'm not comfortable with staying with so many young puppies around. Maybe in another few months, maybe in 2 or 3 months' time, it'll be a different story. But remember, wild dogs aren't typically as active as at night as hyenas, leopards and lions are, and of course they pose a threat to these youngsters. Although I think the hyena has been told to go away. You can just hear the puppies moaning in the distance. Oh wow, VM, look at the sky. Wow, look at this, just very quickly. How amazing is that? How it's changed color completely. That is absolutely gorgeous. So from all those oranges, we've now got beautiful pinks and purples in the sky. Very, very pretty indeed. Driving up to leopards. No, these dogs they're not denning anymore, so they're not staying at one spot. The puppies are old enough now that they can go out and, as we've seen, can move around with the pack. So they're not living at a specific spot anymore, so they'll quite happily just sleep out here. You might find that they tuck themselves away in a more concealed location and not quite so out in the open with all the youngsters, so maybe they'll go down towards the drainage line again. But they're not living in one den. There are lots of termite mounds around here that if, you know, they wanted to, the puppies could go inside. But they're getting big now. You know, there are not many burrows that are going to fit all those puppies in, unless Unless they manage to find one where warthogs have been living and have kind of hollowed it out nicely. But I don't think a wild dog would like to see or meet a warthog as they enter into the burrow. But we're going to say goodbye to the wild dogs now. It's been another fantastic day. Hopefully they're around in the morning. Off you go to Sydney, who's repositioned, and I think he's still got Hosana.
You can see that Hosana is trying to concentrate on something. And looking at what he's doing now is going to show us what he's looking at. I'm trying to check as well around here to see if maybe there is something he's watching. I'm not seeing anything yet. He's going to show me. His concentration. Yeah, his concentration is telling me there is something here. Rainy, the leopards, they get kicked off from the families when they're about 2.5 years, and after that they become solitary. But every mating season, they've got to meet the females just for breeding purposes, and after that they leave again. So the fact that these leopards males are solitary does not mean they don't engage with the females. They do engage with the females only for mating purposes, and after that go back again and perform their solitary life. I still want to see what this animal is excited about. Oh, there's a hyena coming. That is why this cat is looking at something just behind you, Senzo. This hyena. Now that hyena is lying down somewhere there. So that is why he's so very concentrating on that side. So the hyena is sleeping flat now there, whereas the cat is right here next to. So but the cat now is very relaxed, not worried. I think he doesn't have to worry too much because the food is at the safe position at the moment. Yeah, I just did not copy the comment from the two last viewers. I think there was a challenge with my communication this side, but I can see now that Hosana is still very much relaxed, and also the hyena next to Hosana at the back is also very relaxed. Yeah, I'm just checking if there is something wrong with my communications here, but I think now I will be fine. Yeah, at the end of the day, Hosana is going to look exactly the same like Tingana. You can see the only difference will be the notches and the necklace. This is one of the beautiful cats. Look at the pink nose. I like that kind of a nose. Senzo, are you getting the combs from your side? Yes. I'm not getting the combs here. My apologies for that. So now let's go back to Taylor and see how the wild dogs are doing.
Oh, sneaky. I've come unplugged. What are they saying? Am I live? Oh, sorry everybody. I just was saying, literally just saying to VM, I'm like depressing my mic trying to talk to Nikki and I'm going, why can't I hear any beeps? That's funny. Sorry about that. Apparently I'm live. My earpiece had come undone. I don't know for how long. Sorry if I said anything inappropriate. Hoping I didn't. Nikki just confirmed that I didn't say anything weird. That's good. You never know what I'm going to rip on out. I have a huge gamble. They've been pretty good. Right, I've just changed my mind for a second. We're gonna go here. Here. I think we'll just quickly check Gallagher Pants, see if anything's come around to drink. So we've obviously moved on from the dogs, and they went running off. I don't know, the birds started alarming on the other side of the drainage line, but like I said, I mean, I really wanted to go and investigate, but I'm not going to. With all those young puppies around, we'll have to just find out in the morning what the birds were alarming at and what the dogs then reacted to. Okay. Chameleon time. Surely they must be back. Okay. Okay, VM, are you ready now? For reals? Are you ready? We're spotting chameleons now. But we haven't got headlights still. So we need to look for them. But we're going to do a proper chameleon search. Because I'm convinced that we should start to see them now. I don't know, I mean it's warm, it's nice, there's not much foliage out on the leaves, but they just come out to have a little sleep. Maybe they'll be on the quarry trees. Maybe we'll actually have to check trees that have got a lot of leaves on them to try and find them. Maybe even lower down on the branches, closer towards the ground. They might be there, so that's why I've also come down here, because it's such a great forested, woody area. Cassie, you want a bush baby? We're trying to find them. Was it last night? We're trying to find them, but no luck. We can try. This is again a very good area. Do you know what Louise said to me? She said that because she lives in the new set of accommodation. She says at about 5:30 or 5:20, sorry, every single evening, she will she'll sit outside her room if she's not working, obviously. And she says all the bush babies start to wake up, and there's a gerbil that also comes out on the scrub hare, and they come bouncing around. And obviously the bush babies and things around camps, just like Janet's and the bushbuck and all the animals, they become quite habituated to us, so they just bounce around. But one day on bushwalk, if we do one in the afternoon, I'd like to try and get there by about 5:15 in the evening, and then just sit quietly and see if we can spot the gerbil, the scrub hare, and also the bush babies. I think that would be a lot of fun. And I also want to still do all the birds that I've told you about that you can see. The grey-headed bushwrack was in camp today, making a huge noise, although it's a lovely sound. And then I was hoping we'd get a glimpse of it, but I couldn't find it. I did try and go looking for it, but I couldn't find it. Okay, no luck, nothing drinking at the pan. Maybe an owl. Should be able to see them silhouetted easily. Ooh. Anna Marie, well, we're coming around the corner to where we briefly saw a Janet last night. So maybe we will have some luck. I'll keep an eye out just for you. What about a civet? I bet you wouldn't say no to a civet, Anna Marie. I mean, that's also a lovely creature. Haven't seen one in ages. I actually cannot remember the last time I saw a civet. Tristan had some luck about a year ago. Yeah. Thank you, DJ Dialogue. You said you have faith in me. Look what's landed in the road. And listen to what it's singing. There's two of them doing a duet. Now that's obviously a fiery-necked nightjar, And what you saw it just doing now is it flew up as it's hawking insects. So that's the technique they use to try and catch their prey. So the insects and things like that are silhouetted up on the sky. Bee eaters also do that. And there's also a few bats around this evening. Well, that's awesome. That's really, really quite cool. Nightjar moved off of the road. I just wanted it to move before I carried on moving. That is nice also to hear the beautiful sounds of that nocturnal bird. Now, they're one of the few nightjars that are fairly vocal. I'm trying to remember, did we hear this? Was it the swamp nightjar that we were listening to in the Mara? What was the one that Brent kept going on about VM in the Mara? Do you remember? I think it was the swamp nightjar. But I stand to be corrected. If I am incorrect, please correct me. I have no problem with that. Oh goodness, sorry, my earpiece has been tickling my ear all afternoon. Ugh. That's one thing I do look forward to after every safari. Oh right, there seems to be some Hosana hyena interaction with Sydney.
Now Hosana and the hyenas has just been chasing each other. Now Hosana decided to climb up the tree very quickly, so the two hyenas has arrived. Another hyena has just been here waiting for another family member to arrive, and once the family member arrived, they all approached Hosana, who then decided to run up to the tree for safety. So he just now survived another bite. So these hyenas are going to catch him one day. I saw that today it was also very much close. So I can see that he is standing high up there. I'm just going to pull forward so that you can see him from where you are now. He is looking at them right from the top. So you can see that he is now looking at them right from the top. There he's standing looking at them at the bottom. So he's not feeding at all. Now he's up in that tree for safety reasons. So at least today, they're not going to take away his food. Oh, hyenas, they are very popular of scavenging the other animals' remains, but they can also hunt themselves. So that is where the small pieces of bones and pieces of meat was landing when he was feeding on top there. So this is Ntima, and yeah, I am battling to recognize these two hyenas. If one of the viewers can assist me with the identification of these two hyenas. Rosinda, the hyenas, they come to the carcasses on both smell of blood and the smell of the carrion. But when the blood is out, they can easily pick it up. So they also eat the rotten meat as well. I'm standing by, I said. I do have Hosana here with me. It's just that the signals here by the drainage is very bad. There's no signals. You are very lucky to have me now. You are more than welcome. Thank you. Bobby, the leopards and hyenas, they do fight a lot, but I have never experienced a serious fight amongst them. What I have experienced is when the leopard is charging and the hyenas not submissive, and leopards decide to leave them and run away. The spotted hyenas, they are not afraid. They can approach these animals too close and push them away. Oh, congratulations. According to the camera operator, Senzo, who knows them very well, yes, it is Koki and Intima. Thank you very much, Chris, for giving me the right answers with the identification of these two hyenas. So I can see now that Hosanna is slowly approaching the meat. Maybe he wants to have the meat while the hyenas are watching to show them that they're not going to do anything. So he has improved from what has happened a few days ago. So now let's go to David. He is now having his piece of a decker. He's not eating the baby nyala anymore.
Well, looking at hyenas and leopards and trying to imagine a scenario on one-to-one, I would think hyenas are more stronger than leopards. That's number one in terms of strength, in terms of their, I would say, jaw bite. If I'm not wrong, it could be about 1,100 psi. That's pound per square inch. Not sure how much it is for leopard, but definitely much less. But should they go for each other, I would say a leopard will be much smarter in terms of brain and being smart. Just like looking at two boxers on a ring, sometimes it's not about strength, it's about the width. It's about to know when to hit and when to duck. So if I'm looking at two of these animals, or these predators, a leopard and a hyena, I think a leopard might come out much smarter than a hyena. But when to come on like physical fitness, they grab each other, I would say the hyena would come out winning. Not once I have seen hyenas making leopards go up the tree, even with a kill, much higher. And if the kill doesn't drop, the hyenas stay put there until, you know, either the leopard calms down, but chances are if it calms down, it leaves the kill there. That does not help. The only animals I have seen getting irritated by leopards up a tree are elephants, and when they are feeding a particular tree, I think the jacoberry tree, I can't remember very well, that we don't have here in East Africa, or the ebony something tree, and they have it in South Africa. We had Tingana. Tingana is another leopard that is found around Juma area, and he was up there, and ellies came either to eat the berries because it was a bit dry during the winter time, so they were trying. Sorry, Lou, bring that again from NY. Yes, and why I agree with you, I think it's true. Sorry, I had missed your question earlier. Leopards are more agile, and because of their clothes, I believe they would do more damage than the hyenas. Look at them when they're running, and look at them when they're dragging their kills up a tree, you know. And should they be going through the bushes, we have seen some areas where leopards have gone through and the hyenas will not go. If they run, you see a hyena coming to bush and just stopping and maybe not moving. Hosanna might be showing us exactly why leopards are more agile than hyenas.
You can see now that Hosanna has been displaying his climbing skills, but still I can see that Ntima, one of the hyenas, is back, but where Hosanna is cannot be able to see Ntima. He's just on the other side of the vehicle. The chances of Hosanna to go back to the same tree, they are very high at the moment. If Ntima decides to go back and chase him, he's going to climb up again. So don't get surprised where I am now. I do have some other guest vehicles that are watching Hosanna with me. You can see that he is now just looking at one direction. Maybe already he saw that the hyenas are back again. So this cat is one of the very clever cats. I have only realized now that when he's up in that tree where the carcass is, he can also be able to see the other tree where the other carcass is hiding. So from one tree, he can be able to look very far and see another carcass. You can see now that he's full. So now let's go to Taylor, who just got one of the interesting birds.
Oh, I was hoping we were going to play the game of what do you think's hiding in the bush, but now that you know that it's a bird, I suppose it doesn't really matter. We've got two little waxbills roosting in a guarri tree. I drove past and I'm obviously shining my spotlight from left to right, and I thought there's not supposed to be any fruit on these trees at this time of the year. And it wasn't. But if you look very, very carefully, just behind the leaves, you can only see one of the little waxbills, but its partners all snuggled up to it and just to the left. But how awesome is that? That is so cool. For those of you that always wondered, where do the birds go at night? Well, into guarri trees, apparently. Yeah, it's got its eyes open, but you'll see it closes its eyes every now and then. It's growing quite tired. That's fantastic. And I suppose it's an automated response to be able to hold tightly onto a perch like that and not topple over. And on a still light night, because the wind has dropped, I don't think it'll have any problem sleeping through the evening. But we won't disturb him for too much longer. I just wanted to pop on past. Again, you don't view birds at night with the spotlight. So we had the infrared lights on there, which was awesome. I mean, it allows us to see so many more things that we aren't able to normally show you with a spotlight. So I really think the development of the infrared lights has definitely been a huge game changer for the safari industry. Obviously, we're really lucky because we don't have any guests on board with us on the cars. So it doesn't matter if I can't see anything or VM can't see anything. We've got little monitors that we can look at, but it definitely does help. So it wouldn't, realistically, you wouldn't be able to use this on a proper safari experience. You'd still have to use your spotlight, but you wouldn't have the opportunities to view elephants and buffalo and impala and giraffe and all those wonderful creatures that normally out during the day at night time. So count yourselves very, very lucky. You're some of the first people to see cool things, like some of these amazing things, other than the documentary filmmakers that have been out spending hours and hours in the field. But a lot of those smaller things no one actually ever sees. So I think we're super lucky. I think I've seen some incredible things here in the last 2 years, things that I probably won't ever see again. Okay, what else are we gonna find? Maybe we won't find chameleons just yet. Maybe I was too excited. Maybe they're only gonna come around in October, November, start coming out of their little hidey holes. But we'll give it a bash anyways. Let's keep checking though. I'd also like to see a snake, maybe a puff adder, slithering out onto the road, trying to keep nice and warm. But it has been a fantastic afternoon, and I'm sure you all agree. I hope all the kids that watched the Nat Geo show for the first hour enjoyed themselves. But I am going to send you back to David, to the Mara, to spend the last final minutes.
We're right on the road now and just looking whether we could see anything. What do you think that Manu is? That looks like water thickness, sorry, right in front of us there. I don't know if you can pick it up or it's too far. Yeah, it looks like a water thickener to me. These are the animals that will be coming out or bats on the road. Water thickeners and nightjars. So we are now on IR. I don't know whether she has anything on the ground there she was feeding on. Not that I can tell what it is. It's just picked up whatever it was and running away with its dinner. How interesting is that? You see, she got very big eyes, which is very typical of all nocturnal birds. I'm surprised I did not know what that is, but it's definitely, yeah, I mean, Nick in the final control says that's awesome. I do not know what that was, but the nightjars will come out eating flies, water thickeners will come out eating something different. But I think she most likely must have hunted something near the water, and she's taking it maybe to a drier place to eat it. So we'll keep looking on the road. And see whether we might see her again, or maybe nightjars. She hasn't gone very far. She's still on the road there. Let's see whether they can identify what she had. And it's getting dark here. Sorry, Manu, it's getting late here. But I thought I haven't done any Swahili words to all the viewers for a long time. And I'm trying to think of one good word that I would teach all of you. And the word I'm thinking of, yeah, those are the eyes of that water thickener there. Very good, Manu. I'll teach you the word that is furaha, and furaha spells F-U-R-A-H-A. F-U-R-A-H-A, furaha. And furaha means happiness, or furaha means joy. F-U-R-A-H-A, furaha means happiness, or it means joy. And having said that, as I move on, our thickener is gone, so we'll be looking whether we can see more of water thickeners or nightjars. Excellent. Or maybe scrub hairs on the road. And if we don't see that, we're going to give you a wonderful smile. Manu, can you wave to all the viewers? And we're saying from the Masai Mara, we're saying to all of you, thank you for having been with us. And we leave you with loads of furaha, and we're also going home with furaha and going back to Hosanna. And goodbye from all of us in Kenya.
You can see now that Hosanna doesn't have stress anymore. He's very much relaxed. It seems like the hyenas decided to leave him alone. He's even now having a chance to close his eyes, not concentrating on anything anymore. He just picked up a sound again. You can see the ear and the eyes is concentrating. He might go to the waterhole. Not too sure if when he's going to the waterhole he's going to go again and visit his other carcass or come back to this one. Yeah, looking at the stomach, you can see that he ate a lot. Yeah, it has been a fantastic day. We have seen a lot of different species interacting, from the buffaloes and the hippopotamus, as well as the elephants by the Chitwa Dam. And here we have been very lucky to see Hosanna with a hide and kill. One of the kills that yesterday we couldn't manage to relocate. I saw him yesterday afternoon coming from this area, and I was too excited to follow him, not to investigate where he was coming from. Maybe yesterday, if I came here, I was going to find him. I can hear some of the noise from very far, not too sure what that animal was. Stacy, this cat is not yet done with these 2 kills up here. He's got a full thigh of a common duiker, and he also got a big piece of a small nyala. And on the other side, he still have got a full duiker up in a marula tree. So this cat is not going to starve anymore. So tomorrow morning, maybe he's gonna move on to the next carcass. It has been very interesting having you this afternoon, and thank you very, very much for all your questions and comments. We are going to meet again tomorrow morning and carry on from previous in order to see if he's gonna go back to where the other carcass is hiding.